Hey folks, this is Kalani. We finally have a release date for the next patch in Dragonflight 10.1.5 with some very interesting last minute additions that kind of blow the game wide open. We also have some extra chances to grab the Evoker Legendary if you haven't got that yet. There are some big buffs coming for various classes with the next weekly reset, and there are even more class changes to go over in patch 10.1.5, including some very impactful nerfs. There's a lot to talk about, so let's break it all down. Now before we jump in, be sure to hit up that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. To start with, we finally have a release date for patch 10.1.5. The next patch for Dragonflight will go live on July 11th. That means we only have a few weeks to wait for all of that shiny 10.1.5 content. The PTR looks to be mostly complete with the Mega Dungeon, the new Evoker spec, the new world content, daily quests and questlines, all there and available to be tested. Most of it works pretty well too, and there are very few bugs that I've come across personally, so the patch looks to be in a great state. Now, just because we have a release date, that doesn't mean that the patch updates have stopped flowing. We have a whole bunch of class changes to go over later, but first, the dev team snuck something in this week that kind of blew my mind. We're going to get cross-realm trading. This isn't a small step or a little compromise, like only allowing food to be traded or only allowing you to trade within your community with people who are also in your guild and on your friends list for at least 20 days. It's nothing like that. There are no stipulations, there are no requirements, and there are seemingly no restrictions. It's kind of wild that this just popped up out of nowhere. The blue post specifically states you will be able to trade items and gold directly to characters on other realms in their region. So really the only restriction here is going to be your region, I guess, which makes sense considering we still cannot play cross-region anyway, so there's no way to even try to facilitate that trade. But this means a few very important things for the game. For starters, you can pick up and move all your stuff to a different server without needing to buy that server transfer. Sure, your character is still left behind, but if the main thing stopping you from moving server is gold and items, you can now just send that all across without any problems. This also means that if you've already moved server and you have some gold left behind on an old server, you can collect all of that old server gold up and transfer it to where you're currently playing. In addition to that, you also don't really have as much of a reason to actually move server in the first place. Sure, there are still server-based limitations, but this sudden change kind of removes most of the important ones that were left over. Even if your friends play on a different server, you can now group together, do content together, and freely trade with each other. That is a huge deal. And then this also pushes us closer to a mega server style of infrastructure. The game kind of works like that in a grand sense anyway, with how phasing and sharding works out in the world, and with trading now being allowed cross-server, it's almost like your server doesn't actually matter that much anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if Blizzard did eventually go that route and just have region-based servers instead of shard-based servers. The only exception would probably be for RP servers, as they still hold an important distinction with other servers right now, but either way, Blizzard are breaking down the barriers between servers, which, coupled with the cross-faction changes we've been seeing, will open up the game even more and let you play together with almost anyone. In other news, we do have some big class buffs that will go live with the next weekly reset. Blood Death Knights still aren't doing enough, so they're going to see another 6.5% increase to all of their ability damage. Havoc Demon Hunters are getting buffed yet again with a 15% increase to Chaos Strike, Auto Attacks, Demon Blades, Demon's Bite, and Fell Blade damage. Feral Druids are squeaking in here with a 3% damage boost to all of their abilities, just to give them a bit of an edge against the other melee. Hunters will see some quick buffs to both Beast Mastery and Marksmanship. For BM, Killshot damage is increased by 10%, but that doesn't apply to PvP combat. And then for Marksman, Aimed Shot, Killshot, and Rapid Fire damage are all increased by 10%, but again, the Killshot damage does not apply to PvP content. Windwalker Monks will get another 3% boost to all of their damaging abilities. And then the Shadow Priests have quite a few changes as well. To start with, they'll get a 10% increase to most of their single target abilities: Mind Blast, Shadow Word Death, Mind Spike, Mind Flay, and Void Bolt, but Void Spike damage from Idol of Yogg-Saron is getting reduced by 35%, and then Psychic Link is getting knocked down to 25% of damage done from 30%, so their AoE potential will take a hit, but their single target should be okay. Holy Priests are getting some nice damage buffs to help make them competitive with the other healers, including a 10% boost to Holy Fire, a 15% increase for Smite, 35% up on Holy Word Chastise, and a 25% increase to Shadow Word Death. Resto Shamans will see some buffs to their Aberrus set bonuses. The 2 set is being increased by 40%, and then the 4 set will last for 2 additional seconds. And then the last class on the list of live server changes are the Warriors, with a quick buff to Protection Warrior. Defensive stance will provide 20% damage reduction, up from 15%. All of these changes will go live with the next weekly reset on June 27th, so we won't have too long to wait for these buffs and changes to go into effect. That's not all of the class changes for this week though. The patch 10.1.5 PTR has also been updated with some pretty significant class changes, including some nasty nerfs. For the Evokers, Augmentation will see some very impactful nerfs. Their Mastery will only apply to 1 target instead of 2. Their Mastery provides a large versatility buff, so cutting that down to just 1 target slashes their Mastery effectiveness in half, and will definitely hurt their overall potential for smaller group content especially. Prescience duration was reduced slightly. The health bonus from Black Attunement and Aspect's Favor were both reduced. Ebon Might will increase all damage done by 10% instead of just increasing eruption damage by 20%, so that's a bit of a side swap I guess. And then Born in Flame has been redesigned to guarantee you procs of burnout over time. For Preservation, they're going to see a 2% increase to healing of all abilities. Rewind was nerfed down to 40% of damage taken, and Exhilarating Burst was doubled up to a 30% bonus, up from 15%. For the mages, we have a whole bunch of nerfs. Apparently, over the last few builds, both Fire and Frost have gotten too powerful, so they're getting reined in this week. For Fire, Living Bomb damage was increased, but Pyroblast, Fireball, Fire Blast, Phoenix Flames, Ignite, Scorch, Flame Strike, and Flame Patch all had their damage reduced by a pretty significant margin. Unleashed Inferno was buffed up to 50%, and there's a bug fix at the end there for good measure. It's not over yet though. For Frost Mages, Glacial Assault's chance to trigger was increased, Cryopathy duration was doubled, and we've got damage nerfs for Glacial Spike, Ice Lance, Frozen Orb, Blizzard, Comet Storm, Ray of Frost, Flurry, and Frostbolt. So pretty much every major part of your rotation is getting some damage cut right off the top. The monks are up next. Yulon's Grace will only stack to 10%, and for Brewmaster there are a whole bunch of changes to press the advantage. Increased stack duration, increased damage, how it can trigger, as well as interactions with various buffs, and there's also a quick nerf to Awakened Phalanx for Mistweaver. Holy Paladins are getting some new talents this week. We've got buffs for Seal of the Crusader, Daybreak, Flash of Light, Holy Light, and Tears Deliverance, as well as some changes to various talents and effects. Protection also saw a quick tooltip update. Discipline Priests will see the return of the Luminous Barrier talent, giving you a choice node to go alongside Power Word Barrier. Outlaw Rogues saw the changes they were promised last week. Ghostly Strike will now only increase the damage of rogue abilities, and all of their damage has been increased by 9%. And then Enhancement Shamans got a quick buff to their Maelstrom weapon trigger rate. These changes specifically are part of the ongoing class balance and tuning for patch 10.1.5, which we now have a release date for, so all of these buffs and nerfs will go through with the patch on July 11th. That's only a few weeks away, so these big overhauls and talent switch-ups will soon be in our hands. Now moving on, this week was also the first time Scale Commander Sarkareth became available on LFR difficulty, giving pretty much everyone access to the last boss of the current raid, Aberrus. You can work through the encounter, see how it plays out, and see how the story progresses after the dust settles. That's all fine and dandy, but what I'm most interested in is the special Evoker Legendary. Anytime an Evoker kills Sarkareth on any difficulty, they have a chance to get a quest item that starts the questline that culminates in the creation of Nazaro the Unbound Legacy. If you've seen the server-wide yells mentioning this item, that happens every time an Evoker creates their legendary weapon. So you know whenever you see that text message, one more Evoker has unlocked their true potential. But with LFR being accessible to everyone, that means that every Evoker now has a chance to get their Legendary even if you don't run the raid on normal, heroic or even mythic, so that's very exciting. Now, I know many Evokers were kind of dreading this week, because it means you have to kill Sarkareth on yet another difficulty to maximize your chances of getting your Legendary, right? Well, it turns out you don't. The dev team has given us clarification on how the drop chances for the Legendary item work. Each difficulty has a chance to drop the item, but the higher difficulties have a higher chance. So the lowest chance is on LFR, and then the highest chance is on Mythic. That makes sense, but what the dev team explained is that your chances do not increase for clearing a difficulty lower than one you have already done in any given week. The chances are somewhat cumulative. So if you clear the boss on LFR and then go and clear the boss on normal, that's actually the same chances as just clearing on normal, because killing the boss on normal would also have that LFR chance kind of baked in. But if you killed the boss on LFR first, you've already ticked that box. If you clear LFR, then normal, then heroic, that's the exact same chance as just clearing heroic. Your highest difficulty clear is the most important factor here. So if you are clearing heroic every week, it's actually kind of a waste of time going into normal or LFR if you're only interested in the Legendary. The same goes for the cutting edge raiders. If you can kill Sarkareth on Mythic, that is all you would need to do. Anything more than that is just extra effort with zero actual increases to your chances of getting your Legendary. I am so happy that the dev team came out and explained this, because it's going to save me a lot of time in the long run. I'll only be clearing heroic from now on, and I'll just have to keep my fingers crossed that I see the Legendary before the next season rolls around. But that's all of the updates we have for this week, so that's it for this video. What do you think about 10.15 going live on July 11th? Is that earlier than you anticipated, or maybe later than you thought it would be? And what are you most excited about coming in the new patch? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to all of our members here on YouTube. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you'd like to add your name to the end of every video with a special shout out at the start of the next video, you can find links in the description over to Patreon, or click the join button just below this video. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching, folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.